What's up, tech crew? And welcome back to Byte Reality News, your home for everything that matters in the world of tech. Have you ever wondered who's really pulling the strings behind the next iPhone or MacBook? The guy who decides if we get more ports, a bigger battery, or an even thinner design. Well, while Tim Cook is the face of Apple, the hardware wizard making those calls is a guy named John Ternus. And what he does next could completely change the Apple we all know and use every single day. This isn't just some boring corporate shuffle. Ternus is now in charge of Apple's entire hardware empire, from the iPhone to the Mac to the Vision Pro. The decisions he makes today will literally be in your hands, in your pockets, and on your desks for the next decade. So what's his game plan? Is he a visionary like Steve Jobs or a steady hand on the wheel? That's what we're digging into today. So let's start with who John Ternus even is. He's not a flashy designer like Johnny Ive was. He's an engineer's engineer. He joined Apple way back in 2001 and has been deep in the trenches, working on products like the AirPods, the iPad, and most importantly, the Mac. He was the guy who led the transition to Apple's own M-series chips, which was, let's be honest, one of the boldest and most successful moves Apple has made in years. His rise to the top signals a huge shift in Apple's philosophy. For years, under Johnny Ive, the mantra was thinness and minimalism above all else. Remember the butterfly keyboard? Or the MacBooks with only 1 or 2 USB-C ports? That was peak Ive-era design. It looked beautiful, but for a lot of pro users, it was a practical nightmare. Ternus seems to represent a return to pragmatism. He's the guy who oversaw the redesign of the MacBook Pro that brought back MagSafe, an HDMI port, and an SD card slot. It was like Apple finally woke up and said, you know what? Maybe people who buy a Pro laptop actually need Pro ports. Mind-blowing? I know. This move was celebrated by creators and professionals everywhere, and it showed that Ternus is listening to what users actually want and need from their devices. The M-series chip transition is really his masterpiece so far. Moving the entire Mac lineup from Intel processors to their own custom silicon was a monumental task. It was risky. If it failed, it would have been a disaster, but it succeeded beyond anyone's wildest dreams. The M chips delivered incredible performance and insane battery life, completely redefining what we expect from a laptop. This project proved that Ternus can manage incredibly complex, high-stakes engineering challenges. But now, he faces his biggest test yet, launching entirely new product categories. The Apple Vision Pro is the first major new product to launch under his full hardware leadership. And while the technology is absolutely incredible, its super high price of $3,500 and niche use cases make its future uncertain. Will it be the next iPhone or the next HomePod? The pressure is on. So, what comes next for Apple's hardware strategy under Ternus? I think we're entering what I'd call the age of practical Apple. Expect less focus on making things thinner just for the sake of it, and more focus on real-world performance, battery life, and useful features. The big question is whether he can be more than just a great engineer. Can he be a product visionary? Will he be the one to finally deliver a foldable iPhone that makes sense? Or the long-rumored Apple Car? Personally, I believe his leadership will be defined by deep integration of artificial intelligence at the hardware level, making devices that are not just fast, but truly smart and predictive. It might be less about flashy new designs and more about quiet, powerful improvements that make our lives easier. And honestly, after years of worrying about dongles and broken keyboards, a dose of powerful pragmatism might be exactly what Apple needs. All right, shifting gears from the hardware you can hold to the intelligence you can't see. Let's talk about the AI wars, because a major battle is brewing, and it's not happening in Silicon Valley. Two of the biggest AI players outside the US, Cohere from Canada and Aleph Alpha from Germany, are reportedly in serious talks to merge. Now, this isn't just another boring business deal. This could create a new European AI powerhouse strong enough to actually compete with the giants like OpenAI, Google, and Anthropic. This is a big deal for the future of artificial intelligence. First, let's quickly break down who these companies are. Think of Cohere as the AI specialist for big businesses. They build large language models that companies can customize for their own needs, like improving customer service or analyzing internal documents. They're backed by big names like NVIDIA and Salesforce. Aleph Alpha, on the other hand, is the specialist for what's called sovereign AI. That's a fancy term for artificial intelligence designed for entities that need extreme security and data privacy, like governments, banks, and healthcare systems. They're based in Germany and are a big deal in Europe because they prioritize keeping sensitive data within a country's borders. So why would these two join forces? It's all about survival and scale. Training these massive AI models costs an astronomical amount of money. We're talking hundreds of millions of dollars just for computing power, not to mention the cost of hiring the best AI talent in the world. It's an arms race, and the weapons are processing power and data. By teaming up, Cohere and Aleph Alpha can pool their money, their talent, and their technology. Together, they have a much better shot at building next-generation models that can rival what Google's DeepMind or OpenAI are creating. It's a classic case of unite or be conquered. They don't want the future of AI to be dictated solely by American tech giants. So, what does this mean for you and me? For starters, more competition is always a good thing. A new powerful player in the AI space means more innovation, more choices, and potentially lower prices for AI-powered services down the line. It prevents a few companies from having a total monopoly on the most powerful technology of our time. More importantly, it strengthens the idea of a multipolar AI world. The Aleph Alpha side of the merger brings that focus on data privacy and sovereign AI. This is huge for Europe, which has very strict data privacy laws like GDPR. A homegrown European AI champion means that European governments and businesses won't have to rely solely on US companies and be subject to US data policies. It gives them more control over their digital future. This potential merger is a sign that the global AI landscape is maturing, and the next big breakthrough might not come from California. Speaking of global tech hubs, while Silicon Valley and Shenzhen have dominated the conversation for years, it seems like the entire tech world is starting to look towards a different city as the next major hotspot. Get ready, because all signs are pointing to Tokyo being the most important tech destination of 2026. So, why is everyone in tech suddenly booking flights to Tokyo? It's a combination of several powerful factors, all coming together at the perfect time. First and foremost is massive government support. The Japanese government is not playing around. They are investing billions upon billions of dollars to revitalize their domestic tech industry, especially in critical areas like semiconductors. They are basically rolling out a giant red carpet with huge subsidies for any major tech company willing to build factories or research and development centers in Japan. We've already seen companies like TSMC, the world's leading chip maker, open massive new facilities there. Second is the weak yen. Right now, Japan's currency, the yen, is relatively weak compared to the US dollar and the euro. For foreign companies and investors, this means their money goes way, way further. It's like the entire Japanese tech scene is on a massive discount. Building a new lab, hiring talented engineers, and acquiring local startups is suddenly much cheaper for international players. Third, let's not forget Japan's foundation. This isn't a country starting from scratch. Japan has a deep history of world-class engineering and manufacturing. Companies like Sony, Nintendo, and Toyota have been global leaders for decades. There's an incredible pool of talent, a culture of precision and quality, and some of the best infrastructure on the planet. It's a stable, safe, and efficient place to do business. And finally, there's the geopolitical angle. As tensions between the US and China continue to simmer, many global tech companies are actively looking to diversify their supply chains and reduce their reliance on China. Japan presents itself as the perfect alternative, a stable, democratic nation in Asia with strong engineering talent and a friendly business environment. So, what does this mean for the future? Don't expect Tokyo to replace Silicon Valley. Instead, think of it as a new, essential pillar in the global tech world. We can expect to see more major tech conferences hosted there, a boom in local startups, and more international tech giants setting up major operations. This fusion of Japan's deep-rooted culture of craftsmanship with the fast-paced world of cutting-edge tech could lead to some seriously cool and innovative new products. It's a trend we'll be watching very closely here at Byte Reality News. And all this global investment isn't just going into chips and artificial intelligence. A massive and arguably more important sector is finally starting to see the light of day on the public stock market: climate tech. After a long, cold winter where very few tech companies went public, the window for climate tech IPOs might finally be cracking open. And that's a huge deal, not just for investors, but for the future of our planet. First, a quick refresher. An IPO, or initial public offering, is basically a company's big debut on the stock market. It's when a private company starts selling its shares to the public, raising a ton of money in the process. For the past couple of years, the IPO market has been pretty much frozen solid. High interest rates and economic uncertainty made investors super cautious. They were playing it safe, putting their money in less risky ventures. But now, that's starting to change. With signs that the economy is stabilizing, companies in the climate tech space are getting ready to take the leap. We're talking about companies working on everything from sustainable aviation fuel and green hydrogen to advanced battery recycling and technology that pulls carbon directly out of the air. These aren't just small startups anymore. Many have matured, proven their technology, and are ready to scale up in a big way. So, why does this matter so much? Because a successful IPO injects a massive amount of cash into these companies. This cash is the fuel they need to go from a cool experiment in a lab to building huge factories that can actually make a dent in global carbon emissions. It's the difference between a great idea and a world-changing solution. Scaling up climate technology is incredibly expensive, and public markets are one of the best ways to get the capital needed to do it. This also has a big impact on us, the consumers and everyday investors. A thriving public market for climate tech gives more people the opportunity to invest in companies whose mission they believe in. It's a way to align your financial portfolio with your values. More importantly, it sends a powerful signal to the entire business world that fighting climate change is not just a moral imperative, but also one of the single greatest economic opportunities of our generation. A wave of successful climate tech IPOs could inspire even more innovation and attract even more talent to this critical field. Okay, so we've talked about a new era for Apple, AI giants merging, and saving the planet. Now, let's talk about something a little more personal: saving our own sanity. Let's be real. The endless cycle of news, social media notifications, and algorithm-fueled outrage can be completely exhausting. It even has a name: doomscrolling. That's when you just can't stop scrolling through bad news, even though it makes you feel anxious and helpless. But what if your phone, the very device that often causes this anxiety, could also be the tool to help you break the cycle? We've been looking at a new wave of apps designed to do just that, to distract you from the endless doomscroll and guide your attention to something more positive. One great example is an app called Finch, Self-Care Pet. It's a super simple concept. You get a little virtual pet, and this pet grows and goes on adventures as you complete small, real-world self-care tasks. These aren't huge things. We're talking about simple goals like taking a few deep breaths, writing down something you're grateful for, or going for a short walk. Instead of getting a dopamine hit from a controversial post, you get it from taking care of yourself and your cute little bird. It effectively rewires that reward loop in your brain from anxiety to accomplishment. Another approach is to channel that fidgety scrolling energy into creativity. Apps like Lake, coloring books, and Journal are perfect for this. When you feel the urge to mindlessly scroll, you can open the app and just start coloring. There's no pressure to be a great artist. The goal is simply to focus your mind on something calm and engaging, like choosing colors and filling in shapes. It's a form of active mindfulness that occupies the same part of your brain that doomscrolling does, but replaces the stress with a sense of calm. And of course, there are apps that take a more direct approach to mindfulness. While apps like Headspace or Calm have been around for a while, they are becoming increasingly important tools in our digital wellness toolkit. They offer short, guided meditations and breathing exercises designed specifically to help you manage anxiety in the moment. Think of it as a mental reset button. You can press whenever you feel yourself spiraling down a rabbit hole of bad news. This trend of anti-doomscrolling apps is really interesting because it shows a growing awareness in the tech industry. For years, the goal was maximum engagement at any cost. But now, there's a shift towards promoting healthy engagement. These apps aren't a magic cure for anxiety, of course. But they are fantastic tools to have in your pocket. They're a reminder that sometimes the best way to fight the negative effects of technology is with better, more thoughtful technology. So, from a new, more practical era for Apple hardware to AI giants teaming up and a potential boom in climate tech, the landscape is shifting fast, both on a global scale and right inside our own pockets. If this content made sense to you, hit that like button. It really helps the channel grow. Send this to a friend who needs to hear about this stuff. And if you're not subscribed yet, make sure you subscribe and ring that notification bell so you never miss our next deep dive. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.